What's up everybody, Watt007 here, and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. In today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video, I'm going to help you guys form your own opinion on what's the best card to get with your brand new Glossy UR Dream Ticket. This new Glossy UR Dream Ticket is given to us thanks to the celebration of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links for being around for 3 years. It's pretty crazy to think about that this game has been around for 3 years and still going strong. And yeah, hopefully in today's video I can help you guys on choosing what card to get with your UR Dream Ticket. So if you guys find this video useful by any means, be sure to show your support by hitting that like button on the video down below. But of course, you can wait to like the video until you watch the entire thing. But without further ado, let's get into today's video talking about the UR Dream Ticket. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of general points on what you should do with your UR Dream Ticket. I'm going to give you a lot of options in today's video, so let's get into it. Now, the first tip that I can tell you guys on when choosing a card to get with your UR Dream Ticket right here is that straight up, if you don't know what you want to spend your UR Dream Ticket on, straight up just don't spend it right away. This thing is going to last until 2021 of January 31st, which means that you guys have a literal year on deciding on when you want to use this UR Dream Ticket. You never know that there's going to be a card in the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that's from an old box that can help out a brand new deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So due to that, instead of wasting your UR Dream Ticket right now, you can wait until a brand new meta deck comes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that is very powerful but needs a couple cards from some very old boxes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Now that you have your UR Dream Ticket here just waiting along the sidelines, waiting to get used, you can use that UR Dream Ticket to get that old box UR card that you need for a brand new meta deck and be able to build that brand new meta deck and smack up the rank PvP ladder. Now keep in mind, be sure to remember to spend this UR Dream Ticket because I feel a little bit bad, but recently there's a couple other UR Dream Tickets in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that expired recently because if you didn't use it, it eventually expires. And I feel a little bad because some people were telling me that they actually forgot to spend their UR Dream Ticket. So if you're gonna go this route on not spending your UR Dream Ticket right away, be sure to set yourself a reminder like on one of your calendar apps on your phone and whatnot to tell yourself to spend the UR Dream Ticket before January 31st, because I would feel bad if you guys watching this video just straight up never used it before. But like, yeah, I think the strongest thing to do if you straight up don't know what you want to use your UR Dream Ticket on is just to straight up save it. Another tip that I want to tell you guys before you pick a card with your UR Dream Ticket is to straight up never spend this UR Dream Ticket on event URs, formable UR cards, and maybe even structure deck URs while you're at it. Only spend this UR Dream Ticket on main box and mini box UR cards, and even then, probably want to go on the main box URs because getting a main box UR is a little harder than getting a mini box UR card. So for example, this card right here, Artifact VAJ, this card is a event exclusive card, and sure, this event exclusive card is not available anymore because the event just ended. But fun fact, what Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links likes to do is that one, they do repeat events a lot of the time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. They repeat events like crazy. It's pretty ridiculous in how many times they do it. And also what they do with certain event UR cards is that they actually make them accessible in different UR tickets. So for example, we have this prismatic UR ticket for the 3rd anniversary login bonus, and well, would you look at that, this artifact card is also available in this ticket right here. So there is no reason to spend your UR Dream Ticket on this event card right here because it's in other UR tickets that don't have box cards. The reason why Dream Tickets are so special is because it gives you access to box UR cards, so keep that in mind. And if you're unsure if one of the cards you're about to pick from the UR Dream Ticket is from an event or not, what you guys can do is that if you go click on the Duel Studio button right here, go into the Duel Studio and then go into the card catalog, you can type in whatever card that you're considering to get. For this example, let's go sort by release date, and then let me do this for you guys. So for example, the artifact card that we're doing an example of right here, if you wanted to get this artifact card and you were unsure if it was from a box UR or not, what you can do is you can type into the text search bar right here, type in what card you're about to pick up, and then in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, both in mobile and on Steam, you can click this how to obtain button and the game will tell you how to get the card. And actually, I forgot this card is still technically accessible because the event's still going on for a couple more days, but yeah, there you go right there. So let's quickly review what I just talked about just now. If you're unsure if you want to spend your UR Dream Ticket, just straight up save it because this UR Dream Ticket's going to last until January 31st of 2021. And then of course, do not spend your UR Dream Ticket on any event cards or any farmable cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Be sure to always check the how to obtain button to see if you can get the card for yourself. Focus on the main box and the main and mini box UR cards for the UR Dream Ticket so you can save yourself some gems. Now let's go get into all of the cards that I recommend for you guys to to get with your Euro Dream Ticket, because I got you guys a lot of recommendations of what you should use. So the first 4 cards I'm going to mention in today's video on cards to pick with your UR Dream Ticket are cards that you can pretty much slap in like any deck that you build. The strongest recommendation that I recommend to you guys right now at the time of this recording is the UR card called Cosmic Cyclone. Honestly, this is arguably one of the most powerful cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links at this current moment. Cosmic Cyclone is a quick play spell card. You can pay 1,000 life points and then target a 1 spell and trap card on the field and banish it. This is one of the best back row removal cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and if you utilize that pay 1,000 life points to your advantage, you can actually trigger certain skills in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links to help you out to win your duels. So, because a lot of skills in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links rely on you losing life points, so if you use Cosmic Cyclone to 1, get rid of one of your opponent's back row cards, and 2, deplete your life points to trigger one of your skills, you're going to get some huge advantage in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. And honestly, Cosmic Cyclone is one of the best cards to go for with your UR Dream Ticket. I'm probably going to go for my pick for Cosmic Cyclone, because I've been using Cosmic Cyclone almost every one of my decks. The next 2 recommendations that I recommend to you guys is Paleozoic Canadia or Floodgate Trap Hole. They're both very similar cards, but they do have some slight differences, which I'll explain in this video. So Paleozoic Canadia is a card that states when you target a face-up monster your opponent controls, you can change it to face-down defense position. This is very valuable because if you're going against any decks that have certain combos, like for example some Synchro Summon decks, essentially with Canadia you can flip down your opponent's tuner monster and they can't go for their Synchro Summon, and essentially their combo is stopped. And then what you can do is you can go utilize your cards to attack your opponent and get rid of their monsters before they can Synchro Summon and gain advantage in the duel. So Canadia is really useful on that. And then same thing with Floodgate Trap Hole. When your opponent's monster summons a monster, you can change that monster to face down defense position. Monsters change to face down defense position by this effect cannot change your battle position. So what's cool about Floodgate Trap Hole is that it will flip down the monster that your opponent just summoned. And what's really cool about this is that it is permanently flipped face down. So if they don't have a card that can flip it up, Floodgate Trap Hole is going to permanently keep the monster face down, so they will never flip it up. The reason why I still kind of like Canadia a little bit more than Floodgate Trap Hole, and the reason why Canadia is just played more than Floodgate Trap Hole, is because Canadia has a second effect where once per chain when a trap card is activated while this card's in the graveyard, you can special summon this card as a normal monster, and then if summoned this way, this card is unaffected by monster effects and also banish it when it leaves the field. So essentially Canadia is a card that you can shut down your opponent's combos, and if anybody, either you or your opponent, activates a trap card, you can summon Canadia from the graveyard as a monster on the field, which can help you out in certain duels. So that's why Canadia is pretty nice. And also what's cool about Canadia is that you can activate its effect whenever you want. The downside with Floodgate Trap Hole is that you have to activate it on the summon when your opponent summons their monster. You can't do it any other time. So that's something you gotta keep in mind too. But still, the effect that Floodgate Trap Hole can permanently shut down your opponent's monster is really valuable. So both of these cards are some great recommendations that I could recommend because they can shut down some meta decks that are Synchro Summon related, which is really nice, and just in general shut down a lot of combos that your opponent can do. So very good card right there. Then my last recommendation would be Spear Kuriboh. This is the weakest card that you can get out of the other 3 that I recommend. So if you're gonna go for any of the 4 cards that I just mentioned in this segment of the video, go for Cosmic Cyclone, Paleozoic Canadia, or Floodgate Trap Hole. But still, if you have all those cards and you need some other firepower that is something that your opponent won't expect, Spear Kuriboh is still a solid option. I think that Kiteroid is better than Spear Kuriboh, but I have no clue when Konami is going to give us access to Kiteroid again. So if you missed out on that event and you need some hand trap cards to boost up your deck, I'd say Spear Kuriboh is definitely a good recommendation. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send this card from your hands to the graveyard, change the attacking monster to defense position. When you ritual summon a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard as one of the monsters required for the ritual summon. You don't really care about that second effect right there, you just care about the fact that you can pitch this card from your hands to the graveyard to switch one of your opponent's monsters to defense position. So some other cards that I can recommend for you guys is Drowning Mirror Force, Dimensional Prison, Sakuraku Armor, Widespread Ruin, and last but not least, Mirror Wall. Now I think the best cards out of the 5 that I just recommended right now is Drowning Mirror Force and Widespread Ruin. Drowning Mirror Force is really good because you can when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can shuffle all attack position monsters your opponent controls into the deck. Widespread Ruin is also a cool card because when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can destroy the attack position monster your opponent controls with the highest attack. And what's good about Widespread Ruin is that it's not a target effect. So if your opponent has a monster that can negate or is unaffected by target effects, you can use Widespread Ruin and get rid of that. So that's why I recommend Drowning Mirror Force or Widespread Ruin. Dimensional Prison is good because you can banish your opponent's monster, so it straight up just gets rid of it out of the duel, but it is a target effect, so you got to keep in mind of that right there. Same thing with Sakuraku Armor. It's just the worst version of Widespread Ruin because it only destroys the opponent's monster and it's a target effect, so it's kind of iffy right there. And then Mirror Wall is kind of like meh. It's just a card that I could recommend. It does half the attack of all your opponent's monsters when they attack into you, but still, there's cards like Wall of Disruption in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and in some cases these cards are also a little better than Mirror Wall, but still a recommendation nonetheless. Some other cards I can recommend from the spell card category is cards like Forbidden Lance, Night Beam, Galaxy Cyclone, Gold Sarcophagus, Into the Void, and Shrink. I will still say though, the best card to get with your UR Dream Ticket would be Cosmic Cyclone, but if you don't want to go for Cosmic Cyclone, those are a bunch of other recommendations that I could recommend. Other back row cards like Galaxy Cyclone and Night Beam are solid picks, because Night Beam, you can target a set spell check or opponent controls, destroy the target. Your opponent cannot activate the targeted card in response to this card's activation. That's pretty good. Galaxy Cyclone, you can target a set spell and trap card on the field, destroy it. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from a graveyard and target a face-up spell and trap card on the field and destroy it. So this card could potentially get rid of 2 spell and trap cards your opponent controls, which is really nice. Gold Sarcophagus has been kind of good recently, because in the bootleg 6 Sam strategy, you can banish one of your bootleg 6 Sams and go for combos right there, which is actually really cool. And of course, you can use this in Metafist, so that's also an option right there. And then I mentioned Into the Void because if you're a player that likes to play these like Oonga Boonga FTK strategies, Into the Void is a very popular card for those meme FTK strategies. So if you have 3 copies of Into the Void, I'd recommend going for that. And then the last segment of today's video, I'm just going to mention about cards that are very strong in certain decks. All the previous cards that I mentioned were pretty much cards that you can utilize in a bunch of different decks, but these cards I'm about to mention are pretty specific to one deck, but are still really strong options nonetheless. If you like playing Blue Eyes, Whitestone of Ancients is one of the best cards you can get with your UR Dream Ticket, because once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it's sent there this turn, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. You only can use this effect of Whitestone of Ancients once per turn. So essentially, you can special summon any of your Blue Eyes as long as it states that you can special summon it in the first place with Whitestone of Ancients. Really good card right there. Quick Draw Synchron has been a personal favorite of mine as of late. I think I actually used one of my UR Dream Tickets from a different event for Quick Draw Synchron. And if you haven't checked out my Quick Draw Synchron deck, that Synchron deck is actually pretty good. You can win some duels with it. So if you have like 1 or 2 copies of Quick Draw Synchron already, getting another copy of it is really good for the Synchro Summon strategy. Same thing with Psychic Wielder. This is also a really good tuner monster that can go for Synchro Summons. This card is very useful if you want to go into some 6-star Synchro Summons, so that's a good card right there. Junk Synchron is a super good card too, because if you combo the skill What Grows in the Graveyard, What Grows in the Graveyard starts off the duel with a level 2 Dark Verger in your graveyard. So if you have a couple copies of Quick Draw Synchron, you can automatically already have a level 2 star monster in the graveyard. Summon your Quick Draw Synchron, special summon Dark Verger, and go into the Synchro Summon of 5-star Synchro monsters. So that's really good right there. Buster Whelp has been a pretty solid option, especially as of recent because of the brand new Dragunity Structure deck. So if you have almost all the cards for a Buster Blader deck, you might want to snag up this card, because you're going to be probably going against a lot of Dragon decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links thanks to the new Dragunity Structure deck. So you might want to get a couple copies of this, because Buster Blader absolutely destroys Dragunities. This is probably going to be the only Structure deck exclusive card that I'm going to mention that is a solid choice. If you already have been using your previous UR Dream Tickets to get a couple copies of Silent Magician as a free-to-play player, getting a 3rd copy of this card won't be too bad, because this card has showed up a lot in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links as a meta deck. In Spellbooks, specifically, Spellbooks and Silent Magician just go hand in hand and is really good. So if you already have a couple copies of the card, this might not be a bad pick. Sangan has been pretty useful off and on, because if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, but you can now activate cards or effects of cards with that name for the rest of the turn. This card is just a great searcher card. I use that in my Quick Draw Synchron deck. I've used this card in farm decks. Having 3 copies of Sangan has been very useful for me, so if you want to snag a copy of this card, I'd recommend it. I'll be honest, Snipe Hunter has not been that meta relevant as of late, but it's still an interesting card nonetheless. You can discard 1 card, target a card in the field, roll a 6-sided die, and destroy the target unless you roll a 1 or 6. This card does work well with Blue Eyes White Dragon. You can pitch your Whitestone of Ancients and go for Snipe Hunter's effect. This card is just really good just for the fact that you can pitch cards from your hand to the graveyard to go into combos and have the potential to destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field. So that's why Snipe Hunter is a solid card. And then the last monster card that I can recommend to you guys is Kazuki. This card is just a very good monster for the zombie strategy. During your main phase, you can send a zombie type monster from your deck to the graveyard. This card sent to the graveyard, you can banish a zombie monster from your graveyard except Kazuki. Special summon a zombie monster from your hand. You only use each effect of Kazuki once per turn. Essentially, you can pitch your zombies from the deck to the graveyard and then go for combos from there. So that's why Kazuki's a solid pick. Shout out to my favorite card of all time, Phoenix Gearfried. And shout out to Axe Raider. He's not a good card, but damn, he's a pretty good meme because he is in every comment section of every single UR Dream Ticket video. For spell cards that are very strong in certain decks, Fortune Lady Calling is one of the best cards for Fortune Ladies. If you do not have 3 copies of Fortune Lady Calling and you want to play Fortune Ladies, you need to use your UR Dream Ticket to get another copy of Calling if you can't snag it with your gems. Fortune Lady Calling is just a must-have at 3 if you're going to play Fortune Ladies. So if you want to go for that, that's definitely a good pick right there. If you're playing Dark Lords, Banishment of the Dark Lord is a very good card. This card alone actually made Dark Lords a meta deck. You can add one Dark Lord card from your deck to your hand, except Banishment of the Dark Lords. It just made this card alone just made the deck super searchable and made Dark Lords a very powerful archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Black Whirlwind is another really good card that you can use for your Blackwings. If when a Blackwing monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can add a Blackwing monster from your deck to your hand that with the less attack of that monster. This card is really good because you can keep searching out your Blackwing monsters. Silver's Cry is a solid card, mostly used in Blue Eyes White Dragon, but you can rock this in other Dragon decks that utilize Dragon type normal monsters, so you can special summon your Red Eyes Black Dragon or Blue Eyes White Dragon with Silver's Cry, so that's an option right there. Cards of Consonance is a decent card, so you can discard a Dragon type tuner with 1,000 or less attack and draw 2 cards. This works well in Dragoonides and Blue Eyes White Dragon, so that's an option. The reason why I'm recommending Fusion Gate is because of the Cyber Dragon strategy. If you're going to be playing Cyber Dragons and want to reach King of Games with it, you might want to pick up a copy of Fusion Gate, because Fusion Gate works really well with the Cyber Dragon strategy right now because it banishes the materials to the banish zone, and the new support for Cyber Dragons utilize the banish zone to their advantage for duels. So if you want to play Fusion Gate, I'd recommend it. And then the only card that I can recommend from the trap card zone that's good for one specific deck would be Magician's Navigation. If you want to play Dark Magicians, you're going to want to get 3 copies of Magician's Navigation and then use the rest of your gems to get a couple copies of Dark Magical Circles. So that's a really good pick in my opinion with Magician's Navigation. And then this last part of the video, I'm just going to do a quick fire on some decent cards that you can go for with your Dream ticket from the extra deck. Crab Dragon is a very solid generic 8-star synchro monster that can pop cards in the field. Vermilion Dragon Mech is a really good 9-star generic synchro monster that can pop cards in the field. Black Rose Dragon is a really good 7-star synchro monster that can blow up the entire field. Honestly, the only thing Red Dragon Archfiend has going for him is that he's a generic 8-star monster that has 3,000 attack. That's pretty much it. Armades is a really good 5-star synchro monster. When this card attack or is attacked, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects till the end of the damage step, so this card combos really well with the Junk Synchron combo that I mentioned earlier in the video, so solid pick right here. Stardust Dragon is a solid 8-star generic synchro monster because it can negate effects that destroy cards in the field, so that's a good recommendation right there. Buster Blade of Dragon Sword Swordsman is probably the only fusion monster that I could recommend because relating back to the other Buster Blader card that I talked about earlier in the video, the reason why this card is just decent right now is because if you go against Dragoonides and you summon this card in the field, your opponent literally can't do anything because this card negates the effects of dragon monsters and boosts its attack for each dragon monster in the graveyard or the field. Well, I think that's going to be it from me in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. I hope this video helped you guys out by any means, and if it did, be sure to go hit that like button on the video down below and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content. If I did miss out on any cards that you think were pretty good from the UR Dream ticket, be sure to go to the comment section down below and tell others on some other good cards that you can get with the UR Dream ticket. But yeah, I think it's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for watching today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. I'll go see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Off in the cycle repeat. A lie. How many chasing their dreams? A lie. How many of us give up cause we taking the failure as if it's defeat? A lie. How many of us is weak? A lie. How many of us is scared? A lie. How many of us don't understand that we got somebody who really cares? A lie.